In the vast darkness of space, countless stars twinkled like diamonds on black velvet. Among these stars, many alien races lived and thrived. They had formed a big space community called the Galactic Union. This union had been around for thousands of years. Its members were very different from each other, but they all agreed on one thing: humans were weak. The Zarkonian Empire was the most powerful group in the Galactic Union. They looked like tall, blue-skinned humanoids with 4 arms. The Zarkonians thought they were the best at everything, especially at keeping peace in space. They told everyone that humans were not good at fighting or war. "Look at the humans," Zarkonian leaders would say. "They fight each other all the time on their own planet. How can they ever be good at fighting in space?" Many other aliens nodded and agreed. They thought humans were funny little creatures who couldn't stop arguing. One day, a big meeting was held on the Zarkonian home planet. Leaders from all over the galaxy came to talk about important space stuff. The main topic was whether to let humans join the Galactic Union or not. Grobak, the head of the Zarkonian military, stood up to speak. He was tall, even for a Zarkonian, and his voice boomed through the big meeting room. "Friends," he said, "we have been watching humans for many years now. They are not ready to join us. They are too young, too wild, and too weak." Many aliens in the room nodded. They had all heard stories about Earth and its people. Humans seemed to spend most of their time fighting each other over silly things like land, money, or different beliefs. Grobak continued, "Humans cannot even unite their own planet. How can they help us keep peace in the galaxy? They know nothing about real war. Their weapons are primitive. Their ships are slow. They would be crushed in any space battle." A small green alien raised one of its tentacles. "But Grobak," it said in a squeaky voice, "humans are very creative. Maybe they could surprise us." Grobak laughed. His 4 arms waved in the air as he spoke. "Creative? Yes, maybe. But creativity does not win wars. Power wins wars. Experience wins wars. Humans have neither." The meeting went on for hours. In the end, most aliens agreed with Grobak. Humans would not be invited to join the Galactic Union. They were seen as too weak, too divided, and too inexperienced. What the aliens didn't know was that their talk about humans wasn't as secret as they thought. A small human ship, hidden behind a moon, had been listening to everything. The ship was called the Silent Observer, and it was Earth's first attempt at long-distance space travel. Inside the ship, Captain Maria Chen frowned as she listened to the aliens talk. She was a tough woman who had fought in many Earth wars. "They think we're weak," she muttered. "They have no idea what humans are capable of." Her second-in-command, John Okonkwo, nodded. "Should we tell Earth about this, Captain?" he asked. Maria thought for a moment. Then she shook her head. "No," she said, "not yet. Let them think we're weak. One day they'll learn the truth, and when that day comes, they'll be sorry they underestimated us." As the Silent Observer turned and quietly headed back to Earth, the aliens continued their meeting. They felt safe and sure in their big, advanced ships and stations. They thought they knew everything about war and power. But they were wrong. They had no idea that humans, those weak and primitive creatures, were about to teach them a lesson they would never forget. The galaxy was about to learn that sometimes the most dangerous enemy is the one you don't take seriously. And so, as Earth prepared for its future in space, the rest of the galaxy relaxed in its misguided belief. Humans were bad at war, they thought. How wrong they were. How very, very wrong. The day everything changed started like any other on the human exploration ship Curiosity. Captain Sarah Lee was doing her usual rounds, checking on her crew. They were on a mission to explore the edges of our solar system, looking for new discoveries. "All systems normal, Captain," reported Jack, the ship's engineer. He was always excited about the advanced technology on board. "This ship is a beauty. We can go further than any humans before us." Sarah smiled. She was proud of her ship and her crew. They were the best Earth had to offer. But she had no idea how soon their skills would be tested. As the Curiosity moved past Neptune, something strange happened. Their scanners picked up an unusual signal. It wasn't like anything they had seen before. "Captain, you might want to see this," called out Maria, the science officer. Her eyes were glued to her screen. Sarah hurried over. The signal was coming from just beyond Pluto. It was strong and definitely not natural. "Is it? Could it be?" Sarah couldn't finish the sentence. They all knew what this might mean. Suddenly, a huge ship appeared out of nowhere. It was at least 10 times the size of the Curiosity. Its surface was dark and rough, like the skin of some giant space creature. The crew of the Curiosity held their breath. This was it. First contact with alien life. Sarah straightened her uniform. "Open a communication channel," she ordered. Her voice was calm, but her heart was racing. "Attention, unknown vessel. This is Captain Sarah Lee of the Earth ship Curiosity. We come in peace and wish to." She never got to finish. A bright beam shot out from the alien ship, hitting the Curiosity. Alarms blared as the ship shook violently. "We're under attack," shouted Jack. "Shields at 50% and dropping." Sarah's training kicked in. Evasive maneuvers. "Get us out of here." The Curiosity turned and sped away as fast as it could. The alien ship followed, firing more beams. Each hit made the human ship shudder. "We can't outrun them," Maria said, fear in her voice. "What do we do?" Sarah thought fast. She remembered an old trick from her academy days. "Jack, can you vent some plasma from the engines?" Jack nodded, understanding the plan. "On it, Captain." As the alien ship got closer, the Curiosity released a cloud of glowing plasma. The alien ship flew right into it. For a moment, their sensors must have been blinded. It was all the time they needed. The Curiosity slipped away, pushing its engines to the limit. They didn't stop until they were safely back near Earth. The news of the attack spread quickly. At first, many didn't believe it. Aliens attacking humans. It seemed impossible. But soon, more reports came in. The aliens, who called themselves the Droxians, had attacked human colonies on Mars and the Moon. They destroyed buildings and took people away. The whole Earth was in shock. This was nothing like the peaceful first contact they had hoped for. Instead of handshakes and cultural exchange, they got violence and destruction. World leaders gathered for an emergency meeting. They showed videos of the attacks. Cities in flames. People running in fear. It was like a nightmare come true. "The Droxians seem to think we're easy targets," said one general. "They gravely underestimated us." Sarah, now hailed as a hero for saving her ship, was asked to speak. She stood before the world's leaders, her uniform still scuffed from the attack. "The Droxians are strong," she said. "Their technology is advanced, but they don't know humans. They don't know that when we're pushed, we push back harder." Her words sparked a fire in the room. Leaders who had been arguing now nodded in agreement. It was time to show the galaxy what humans could do. As Sarah left the meeting, she saw crowds gathered outside. People were scared, but there was something else too. A determination. A will to fight back. Sarah looked up at the sky. Somewhere up there, the Droxians were probably laughing, thinking they had found an easy conquest. "Laugh while you can," she whispered. "You have no idea what's coming." And so, as the sun set on that fateful day, Earth began to prepare. The Droxians and the rest of the galaxy were about to learn a very important lesson. Never underestimate humans. The news of the alien attack spread across Earth like wildfire. At first, people were scared. They had never faced an enemy from space before. But soon, fear turned into anger. How dare these aliens attack Earth's colonies? In New York, the United Nations called an emergency meeting. Leaders from all countries came together. For once, they weren't arguing. They were united against a common enemy. "We must fight back," said the President of the United States. Her voice was firm and strong. "But how?" asked the Prime Minister of India. "Our weapons are not as good as theirs." The room fell silent. Then, a young scientist from Kenya stood up. "We may not have better weapons," she said, "but we have something the aliens don't expect: creativity and determination." Her words sparked a fire in the room. Soon, leaders were sharing ideas, making plans. For the first time in human history, the whole world was working together. In labs across the globe, scientists worked day and night. They studied the alien technology from the few pieces they had. In China, a team found a way to make Earth's missiles faster. In Brazil, engineers designed new spaceships that could hide from alien radars. Factories changed overnight. Instead of making cars or phones, they started making parts for spaceships and weapons. People volunteered to work extra hours. No one complained. Everyone knew what was at stake. Military leaders from different countries shared their knowledge. They knew Earth's armies were small compared to the aliens, but humans had been fighting wars for thousands of years. They knew tricks the aliens had never seen. "We'll use guerrilla tactics in space," said a general from Russia. "Hit them when they least expect it. And we'll use their size against them," added an admiral from Japan. "Our ships will be smaller, faster, harder to hit." As Earth prepared for war, something amazing happened. Old enemies became friends. Countries that had fought for years now worked side by side. The threat from space had united humanity in a way nothing else could. In schools, children learned about space and aliens. They didn't learn hate. Instead, they learned about working together, about being brave and smart. "You are Earth's future," teachers told them. "One day, you might save us all." Governments shared their secrets. Hidden technologies came to light. Some were weapons, others were for defense. Together, they made Earth stronger. But it wasn't just about fighting. Diplomats trained to talk to aliens. They learned new languages, studied alien cultures. "We must be ready for peace too," they said. "War is not the only way." As weeks passed, Earth changed. Cities built underground shelters. Farmers grew extra food. Everyone did their part. The whole planet became one big team. In space, Earth's colonies prepared too. They built hidden bases on moons and asteroids. These would be surprise points to attack from later. Finally, after months of hard work, Earth was ready. New ships filled the skies, piloted by brave men and women from all nations. New weapons waited, powerful enough to challenge the aliens. But the biggest change was in the hearts of humans. They were no longer divided. They were no longer weak. They were Earth, united and strong. As the first human fleet prepared to leave Earth, people gathered to watch. Millions stood in streets, looking up at the sky. They cheered as the ships rose into space, carrying Earth's hopes with them. On the lead ship, Captain Maria Chen looked back at Earth. She remembered the aliens' words, how they thought humans were weak. She smiled. "They have no idea what's coming," she said. The human fleet moved into deep space, ready to face the alien threat. The galaxy was about to learn a big lesson: never underestimate humans, especially when they work together. The human fleet moved through space, silent and determined. Their first big test was coming. The Droxians, the alien race that had attacked Earth's colonies, were gathering near Proxima Centauri, the star closest to Earth. Captain Maria Chen stood on the bridge of her ship, the Earth and Hope. She looked at her crew. They were from all parts of Earth: America, China, Russia, India, Nigeria, Brazil, and many more. All united, all ready to fight. "This is it," Maria said. "The Droxians think we're weak. Let's show them how wrong they are." The human ships hid behind Proxima Centauri's planets and moons. They waited for the right moment. The new technology they had built made their ships almost invisible. Suddenly, the Droxian fleet appeared. Their ships were huge, at least 10 times bigger than the human ships. They looked like giant silver fish, smooth and fast. "Look at the size of those things," whispered John, Maria's second-in-command. Maria nodded. "Big ships make big targets," she said with a smile. The humans let the Droxians come closer. The aliens didn't know the humans were there. They thought they were entering empty space, ready to launch another attack on Earth's colonies. When the Droxians were in the perfect position, Maria gave the signal. "Now," she shouted. Human ships burst out from their hiding places. They attacked from all sides. The Droxians were caught by surprise. They hadn't expected humans to be here, and they certainly hadn't expected such an organized attack. The battle was fierce. Droxian ships fired their powerful weapons, but the human ships were too quick. They darted in and out, hitting the alien ships, and then moving away before they could be hit back. On Earth, millions of people watched the battle on their screens. They held their breath, hoping, praying for victory. In space, the human pilots used every trick they knew. They used asteroids as shields. They worked together, one ship distracting a Droxian, while another attacked from behind. The Droxians were confused. They had always fought in big groups, relying on their size and strength. But the humans fought differently. They were unpredictable, always changing their tactics. Hours passed. The space around Proxima Centauri lit up with explosions and weapon fire. Slowly, the humans began to gain the upper hand. Then came the turning point. Maria's ship, the Earth and Hope, faced the Droxian leader's ship. It was twice as big as the other Droxian ships. "This is our chance," Maria told her crew. "If we take out their leader, we win this battle." The Earth and Hope zoomed towards the Droxian leader's ship. Other human ships provided cover, distracting the Droxians. Maria's plan was risky, but it was their best shot at victory. As they got closer, the Droxian ship fired at them. The Earth and Hope shook with each near miss, but Maria kept going. Closer and closer they went. At the last moment, Maria ordered, "Fire everything we've got." The Earth and Hope unleashed all its weapons. The attack hit the Droxian ship right where it was weakest. There was a huge explosion. The Droxian leader's ship broke apart. A cheer went up from every human ship. The remaining Droxians, seeing their leader defeated, turned and fled. The Battle of Proxima Centauri was over. Against all odds, humans had won their first major space battle. Back on Earth, people celebrated in the streets. They hugged strangers, cried with joy. Humanity had stood up to the alien threat and emerged victorious. In space, Maria looked out at her fleet. Many ships were damaged. Some had been destroyed, but they had done it. They had proven that humans were not to be underestimated. As the fleet prepared to return to Earth, Maria sent a message to all ships. "Today, we showed the galaxy what humans can do. This is just the beginning." The battle was won, but the war was far from over. However, for the first time since the alien attack, the people of Earth felt hope. They were ready to face whatever the galaxy threw at them next. After the Battle of Proxima Centauri, the galaxy was in shock. How had the humans, fought to be weak and primitive, defeated the mighty Droxians? The answer lay in the unique way humans approached war. Captain Maria Chen and her team were called to Earth for a special meeting. Leaders from around the world wanted to hear their ideas. They knew that one victory wasn't enough. They needed a plan to win the war. "The Droxians are strong, but they're not creative," Maria explained. "They always do the same things. We can use that against them." And so, Operation Wildcard was born. It was a plan that used all of humanity's strengths: creativity, adaptability, and unpredictability. The first part of the plan was to use Earth's different environments for training. Soldiers practiced fighting in deserts, jungles, and even underwater. "Space is full of strange places," their trainers said. "We must be ready for anything." Next, scientists worked on new technologies. But instead of just copying alien tech, they mixed it with human ideas. They created ships that could change shape, weapons that used sound waves, and suits that could turn invisible. One of the most exciting inventions was the Swiss Army ship. It looked like a normal space rock, but it could turn into a fully armed battleship in seconds. Imagine the look on the aliens' faces when they realize that asteroid is actually a warship, laughed one of the engineers. But it wasn't all about fancy tech. Humans also used simple tricks that confused the aliens. They painted their ships to look like space junk. They sent out fake radio signals to trick enemy radars. Sometimes, they even used old-fashioned things like smoke screens in space battles. The humans also studied the aliens carefully. They learned the Druksians' language and culture. This helped them understand how the aliens thought. "Know your enemy" became a popular saying. One day, during a battle near Jupiter, the humans used this knowledge in a clever way. They sent messages in the Druksian language, pretending to be Druksian commanders. The real Druksians got so confused that half their fleet ended up flying in the wrong direction. As the war went on, humans started using psychological warfare too. They spread rumors among the Druksians about a super-powerful human weapon. There was no such weapon, but the Druksians wasted a lot of time and resources looking for it. The humans also made friends with other alien races. Some of these aliens had been bullied by the Druksians for years. They were happy to help the humans. They shared information and sometimes even fought alongside Earth's forces. One of the biggest surprises for the Druksians was how quickly humans learned. In every battle, the humans tried new tactics. If something didn't work, they didn't use it again. If something worked well, they improved it for the next time. Humans are like water. A Druksian general complained to his leaders. Just when we think we've stopped them, they find a new way to flow around us. Back on Earth, schools started teaching space strategy classes. Kids played video games that simulated space battles. Some of their ideas were so good that the military actually used them. Even human sports became part of the war effort. The quick thinking of basketball players, the teamwork of soccer teams, and the strategic planning of chess masters all inspired new battle tactics. As months passed, the tide of the war began to turn. The Druksians were losing more battles than they were winning. Other alien races watched in amazement. The Zarkonians, who had once dismissed humans as weak, now watched Earth's victories with growing concern. In a secret meeting, the Zarkonian leader said something that would have been unthinkable just a year before. "We may have underestimated the humans. Their art of war is unlike anything we've seen before." Little did they know, humanity was just getting started. The galaxy was about to learn that when it comes to fighting for survival, humans were in a class of their own. As the humans continued to surprise the galaxy with their unique approach to warfare, something unexpected began to happen. Other alien races started to see humans in a new light. They were no longer the weak, primitive species everyone had thought them to be. One day, a strange ship appeared near Earth's moon. It wasn't Druksian or Zarkonian. It was from the Keltheri, a race known for their wisdom and neutrality in galactic affairs. The Keltheri ship sent a message. "We wish to talk. We have watched your battles. We are impressed." Captain Maria Chen was chosen to meet with the Keltheri. As she boarded their ship, she was amazed. The Keltheri looked like tall, slender trees with glowing leaves. Their ship was like a floating forest. The Keltheri leader, Elder Zin, spoke softly. "Your species fights with honor and creativity. We believe you could bring balance to the galaxy." Maria was surprised. "But we're still new to space travel. How could we bring balance?" Elder Zin's leaves glowed brighter. "Sometimes, fresh eyes see what old eyes miss. Your ways are different. That is your strength." Over the next few days, more alien races reached out to Earth. The Volans, master engineers, offered to share their technology. The Uxthar, a warrior race, wanted to learn human battle tactics. Even some Zarkonians, disagreeing with their leaders, came to support the humans. In a grand meeting on the moon, representatives from 20 different alien races gathered. They all had one thing in common. They were tired of the Droxian attacks and the Zarkonian control. Maria stood before them, feeling the weight of the moment. "We may be different," she said, "but we all want peace. Together, we can stop the Droxians and create a better galaxy for all." And so, the Galactic Alliance was born. It was a team like no other. Each race brought their own strengths. Humans brought their creativity and adaptability. The Keltheri brought their wisdom and diplomatic skills. The Volans brought advanced technology. The Uxthar brought their strength and combat experience. Together, they were stronger than any single race could be alone. The Alliance's first act was to create a shared fleet. Ships of all shapes and sizes came together. Human pilots flew alongside alien crews. They learned from each other, combining their skills in ways never seen before. On Earth, alien technology mixed with human innovation. The result was incredible. New weapons that could disable enemy ships without destroying them. Shields that could withstand the strongest attacks. Ships that could travel faster than ever before. But the Alliance wasn't just about fighting. They also worked on ways to talk to the Droxians, to find a peaceful solution. "War is not the goal," Maria often said. "Peace is." The Zarkonians watched all this with growing worry. They had always been the most powerful force in the galaxy. Now, this new alliance threatened their position. As the alliance grew stronger, more races joined. Even some Droxians, tired of the war, came to their side. They brought valuable information about Droxian weaknesses. The balance of power in the galaxy was shifting. The Alliance's message of unity and cooperation spread from planet to planet. Many who had once feared or looked down on humans now saw them as friends and leaders. 1 year after the first attack on Earth, the Alliance was ready. Their fleet was strong. Their technology was advanced. But most importantly, they were united. As they prepared for the final push against the Droxian forces, Maria looked out at the diverse fleet. Ships of all shapes and sizes, crews of all different species, all working together. She smiled, thinking how far they had come. The humans, once dismissed as weak, had brought together the greatest alliance the galaxy had ever seen. "We're ready," she said to Elder Zin, who stood beside her. The Keltheri's leaves glowed with approval. "Indeed we are," he replied. "Thanks to the humans, the galaxy will never be the same again." As the Alliance fleet moved out, ready to face the Droxians, one thing was clear. The aliens had been right about one thing. Humans were bad at war. They were too creative, too adaptable, too determined to play by the old rules. And that was exactly why they were winning. The final battle was about to begin. The Galactic Alliance fleet, led by Captain Maria Chen, faced the combined forces of the Droxians and their Zarkonian allies. It was the largest space battle in the history of the galaxy. As the two fleets neared each other, Maria sent a message to all Alliance ships. "Remember," she said, "we fight not just for victory, but for a better future. For all of us." The battle started with a flash of light as thousands of ships fired at once. The space around them lit up like a giant fireworks show. Alliance ships moved in perfect sync, using tactics no one had seen before. Human pilots flew alongside alien crews. They used every trick they had learned. The Swiss Army ships changed form mid-battle, confusing the enemy. Volan technology and Uxthar strength combined with human creativity to create an unstoppable force. But the Droxians and Zarkonians fought hard too. They had ruled the galaxy for a long time and didn't want to give up. The battle raged on for hours. Both sides took heavy losses. In the middle of the fight, Maria's ship, the Earthen Hope, was hit. Alarms blared as the ship started to lose power. But Maria didn't give up. She had an idea. "All ships," she called out, "Operation Shooting Star." This was a plan they had practiced but never used. Alliance ships started to gather in groups. Then, at Maria's signal, they charged forward together, looking like giant shooting stars. The enemy was caught off guard. They had never seen ships move like this before. The shooting stars broke through their lines, causing chaos. In the confusion, Maria spotted the Droxian leader's ship. "This is our chance," she told her crew. They pushed forward, other Alliance ships covering them. As they got close, Maria opened a communication channel. "This is Captain Maria Chin," she said. "This war can end now. Surrender, and we can work together for peace." For a moment, there was silence. Then, to everyone's surprise, the Droxian leader appeared on the screen. He looked tired. "Perhaps," he said slowly, "it is time for a change." Word spread quickly. The Droxian ships stopped firing. One by one, they stood down. The Zarkonians, seeing their allies give up, soon followed. As the firing stopped, a cheer went up across the Alliance fleet. They had done it. They had won. In the days that followed, leaders from all races met to discuss the future. The Galactic Union was reformed, with the Alliance at its core. This time, all races were treated equally, including humans. The Droxians and Zarkonians were not punished. Instead, they were invited to join the new union. "We must learn from our past," Maria said at the meeting, "not be trapped by it." Across the galaxy, things began to change. Planets that had been at war for centuries now worked together. The technology shared between races led to amazing discoveries. On Earth, humans celebrated. They had not only survived, but had helped create a new era of peace. Schools taught about alien cultures. Alien tourists visited Earth, amazed by its diversity. As for Maria, she was hailed as a hero. But she always said the real heroes were all the beings, human and alien, who had worked together for peace. 5 years after the war, a grand ceremony was held on a space station orbiting Earth. Representatives from every known race in the galaxy attended. They were there to sign the Galactic Constitution, a document that would ensure peace and cooperation for years to come. As Maria watched the signing, an old Kelthari approached her. It was Elder Zin. "You have done well," he said, his leaves glowing softly. "Your species has brought balance to the galaxy, just as we hoped." Maria smiled. "We couldn't have done it alone," she replied. "It took all of us working together." As the ceremony ended, fireworks lit up space around the station. Ships of all shapes and sizes flew in formation, a display of unity and hope. Looking out at the celebration, Maria thought about how far they had come. The aliens had been right. Humans were bad at war. They were too good at making peace. And so, a new chapter began in the history of the galaxy. A chapter where strength came from unity, where differences were celebrated, and where the most unexpected species had shown everyone a better way forward. The humans had reshaped the galaxy, and the galaxy would never be the same again.